Welcome back. This is Hope at Dawn right here at Hope TV. This is where you look and you live. Thank you so very much. Being a Monday, of course, you know, we tackle everything to do with finances, everything to do with the state of the economy. And that is the conversation we will be continuing with even today. And so any question, any query, clarification that you could be having, please do not hesitate to get in touch with us, Hope TV Kenya, across our social media platforms. And also you can get us on our WhatsApp platform, 0708 222 323. And so without further ado, allow me to welcome our guest this morning as we talk about economic trends and its impact on personal finance. That is what we will be looking at this morning. And to help us with this conversation is a friend of Hope. You have listened to him on Hope FM as well. He's been gracing our airwaves as he enlightens us, as he, tells us what is really happening in as far as the economy and personal finance is also concerned. So Kennon Mbae is the CEO Mwalimu Biashara Limited, and he is our guest as well this morning to help us with the conversation of the day. And good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Gishoro. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Excellent.
Good to see you.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Karibu sana.
Talking about these matters.
Very important.
That concern people.
Yes.
Yes.
Your weekend, how was it? You know,
Good.
It's a Monday.
Yes, it's a Monday morning.
Monday morning.
No, it was well. I can't complain. I think
right.
this is a time we just take to rest, recuperate, spend time with family. So mine was very good.
Awesome.
How's yours?
My mine was also equally fantastic.
Okay.
Spent lots of it with family,
Yes.
as you said, as we try to refresh and rejuvenate. Looking forward to a brand new day and also a brand new week. For the person who is interacting with you for the very first time, I want to give you some few seconds, a minute, to give us a brief introduction of yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, George. My name is Kennon Mbae. I'm the CEO of Mwalimu Biashara Limited. What we do three things. We help people make more money, we help people grow their money, and protect their money. This could be individuals, this could be organizations, this could be chamas, the work. But that's what we wake up to do every morning. Because money seems to be, there's a formula to it. And the idea is to help empower people do that through Mwalimu Biashara. Done this over 20 years in my life. Wow. And I'm happy to be here to do this bit of the morning.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Looking forward also to hearing from you. You know, I'm stuck at growing people's money. All of us, we want our money to grow.
Yes.
The how is now
is the issue.
Is the issue now.
Right. Very right.
So we are looking forward to getting to learn how do we grow our money? How do we stabilize financially speaking? Let's start our conversation by laying the foundation. When economic trends that are going on in our country and that we are seeing in Kenya, in the region as well, and globally, and how they impact our personal finances.
Okay. So generally speaking, when you look at an economy, they are what we call macroeconomic indicators. We may not feel them immediately in our pockets, but they lay the foundation, like you say, the structure of how things are going. A critical one is interest rates. And when you go to buy bread, you buy bread at a certain amount of money, so 70 shillings, 80 shillings. Interest rate is how much you're buying money for. How much you're paying to get money. Why that is so critical is that it determines the appetite of people to go out and do something. We borrow money, either we borrow money to consume, take a holiday. You can borrow money to expand your business. You can borrow money to do very many things. But that is an indicator of how the economy is doing. There's some good news about Kenyan economy where interest rates are concerned because they are coming down. If you look at the trend over time, interest rates are coming down. That is to say, if I go out to get money, I'm getting money at a cheaper rate. Banks have also started indicating, responding to that because this is usually set by the central bank. Then the banks follow queue. There's some glimmer of hope where that is concerned. It means people can now get money at a cheaper rate. The second thing to look at is inflation. Inflation basically means the shilling I have in my pocket, what can it buy me? Can it buy me more things or less things? I'm trying to put it in very simple terms.
Yes.
We don't have to go to definitions, economics. Just what does it mean to your personal finances? It means the money I have in my pocket can buy me more if inflation is low. Again, good news. We are roughly at about 3 to 4% of inflation in this country today. Good indicator. That's the second thing. Exchange rates, very important.
Yes.
And before the show, we were saying that people were smiling, that people were frowning. Exchange rates are stable. What that does to the economy then gives some sort of certainty. The people who are exporting things, who are selling things outside the country, they want a higher exchange rate so they can get more shillings.
Oh, yes.
The people who are importing want a lower exchange rate. As a country, we are a net importer. If you compare what we export versus what we import more. So it's in our interest as a nation for the interest rates to be as low as possible and stable. Again, we are seeing stability around that. Of course, we can't leave out politics because politics then determines the tempo of how do people develop, or how do people make money. If there's a lot of political noise, we saw that sometimes last year during the Gen Z demonstrations. Anytime there is some instability, then people slow down. Then you get less money in your pocket. You talked about the region. Also happens in the region, depending on what's happening around the region. It affects Congo. We import a lot of timber from Congo. If there is war in Congo, unrest in Congo, timber will be more expensive. So you see politics, geopolitics, and the state of the economy affects the state of the economy in a big way. The last one I'll talk about is employment. Because after all this said and done, do we have a job?
That's a question.
And again, this goes back to productivity. We should have had many people talk about, I can't get a job, I need a job. And I appreciate that. I know that. But if we can focus on productivity, what can I do with what I have or what I know, we'll be able to generate jobs at either employment level or self-employment. So those are the framework items we can talk about the state of the economy. Although people have been coming from a place of heart, things are a bit slow. Things are still slow. Even if these macroeconomic indicators are saying a different story, we still have to see that take up into traction and people become happier with more money in their pockets.
Because as you were mentioning all those things, the inflation rates, the interest rates and all, I was really asking myself the question because as someone was saying, pesa mfukoni. So why are we not having e-pesa? Because all those indicators
are looking right.
Exactly. But then again, as they say, the most important, because I think equally important is when I put my hand into my pocket.
What do I find?
What do I find?
Or did I not find?
Exactly. So what could really be the challenge?
Okay. So in this show, this is not a political show.
It's not.
But we need to speak things as they are. The government is a major spender. The government takes about 55% of our money as taxes. Every 100 shillings you earn, roughly, when you put PAYE, VAT, excise duty, all those things, they'll average between 50 and 55. So it means this 50 or 55% of the money that has gone to the government needs to come back to us in terms of goods and services. If that does not come back, you'll not get money in your pocket. That's a key thing that you need to be cognizant. And of course, we can have a whole show to explain why that is a point. We have debts to pay. And again, the other thing, governments are run beyond the current regime. Because people inherit, the governments inherit things. If a government issues a 30-year bond, means regardless of the people in power, the government,
to honor.
Exactly. So even in this conversation I'm making, I'm not necessarily talking about the current regime. I'm talking about, generally speaking, as the government takes money from the public through taxes, we need to see that come out. Now, truth is, that has not been happening. At least not as your personeka kwa mfuko you feel. It's not happening. Last week, I went to a hospital and patients are suffering. Again, the SHA story is good. I think the thinking is brilliant. But because there's a delay in the implementation, this is how it looks like. So I get deducted money as SHA. I comply, it's regulation, I'm not arguing. But when I go to the hospital to discharge my patient, I still pay what SHA was meant to
pay.
This is it. Less money in my pocket. We could have all the explanations why that's happening, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
If you extrapolate that in many areas, then you start seeing why sometimes you feel there's less money in the pocket. So public spending is very important.
Yeah.
We cannot not talk about corruption.
Yeah.
We cannot not talk about corruption because, again, if this money was meant to do 10 kilometers of a road and they do 5 kilometers of a road, someone somewhere is going to suffer.
Yeah.
That someone somewhere is you and I putting hands in the pocket and you find there's no money in there because it was supposed to do something, but it didn't get there.
Yeah.
And I urge the leadership in this country, let's kill this thing called corruption.
Yeah.
It is a major problem where our pockets are concerned.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Someone will grant and say a few people are benefiting, others are not benefiting, but it is the masses, the more people who are not benefiting. They go to their pockets, they don't find anything there. Those are some of the indicators, Gishuru. But then, even people themselves have a role to play. If I get a loan somewhere, and how do I use that money? Now, I'm now in the realm of personal finance.
Yeah.
I go get 100,000 shillings because I do my eye. So my intention was to probably increase my stock.
Yeah.
But instead of increasing my stock, I buy a fancy phone. There's nothing wrong with a fancy phone.
No.
But if we are not productive as human beings, because had you increased your business of Mahindi or my whatever it is, you'd have more money in your pocket, but now you don't. So it's a combination of many factors, but those are the ones I can pick for now, George.
And we'll continue to pick some as we continue with our conversation.
Yes.
Let's talk about inflation, and you have partly mentioned it at the beginning, and how it affects household budgets. Let's see how we are trying to help someone who is watching us today.
Yes.
How then can we be able to adopt so that now we can be able to mitigate the impacts of the inflation rate in as far as our financial situation is concerned?
Super.
Yeah.
So when you talk about inflation, there are two types. There is local inflation. I'm going to talk about that in a short while.
Yes.
And there is imported inflation. Local inflation is what happens within the country. Like right now, there are good rains. As long as we are producing goods and services, inflation comes down. That's the answer. As long as you're producing goods and services, inflation comes down. So that's local inflation. So anyone watching and wondering, so what can I do? Please produce goods and services. If you're employed as a clerk or an admin person or an accountant, do the best of the accounting work you can do. Now you're producing services. That means you're contributing to lowering the inflation rate in this country, because as long as enough goods and services, and of course there's a whole thing about, inflation is a lot of money chasing very few goods. But if there's enough goods, even if there's a lot of money, we are all contributing to lower inflation. Imported inflation is the one that comes because we are getting inputs from outside the country. Look at oil, for example.
Yes.
We don't produce oil, but oil is very important for the economy. If we import oil at a higher rate, it means we've imported some inflation. Why? Because the price of oil is coming at a higher price. So that's the first thing to understand. Local inflation and imported inflation. What can you do? Increase productivity. Increase productivity. If you're a farmer, farm as much as you can. Let's get the best of tomatoes from your shamba. Why? Because we'll pay you more. You'll get more money. Okay? And then there'll be more to even supply to other people. So inflation, that's the thing, and that's what you need to do. Some of it is also, it depends on God. Let me put it that way. If there's a drought in this country, definitely inflation will go up because no one is producing stuff. And even the little that's being produced is expensive. Then when things start becoming expensive, inflation sets in. So the 10 shillings I have in my pocket, instead of getting 3 tomatoes, I get 2. That's what inflation does to your pocket.
All right. I'm listening to you, and also Kenyans are very hardworking. They go all out and all. But then again, we have had a number of policies that in a way, laws even passed by Parliament that are in a way affecting that production. And you hear now the cost of production now goes up. And so in my bid to, to increase my money, as we were saying,
yes,
I still get, my money still inakatwa tu. Inakatwa tu. How do we cushion ourselves from such?
Again,
because before you even answer that, let me cut you short, because we have even heard of some farmers, they have decided to forego whatever they were doing in terms of their farming, because they said it's very expensive and the returns is not equivalent to what I am spending.
Exactly.
And so they opt to go another direction, which now again affects, in the long run, it will affect us as a country, because we were depending on this farmer for this produce, but then again now they have decided to shift. So there is a gap. How then do we go about this?
So the government plays a huge role. And when I say government, I mean executive, judiciary, legislature, devolved functions. Anybody who's in a position of power, public power, affects us a lot. Of course, I go back to how did we vote? I can't end this conversation without saying that, because there are very many things towards voting patterns in Kenya, elsewhere. But since we're in Kenya, I'd like to urge everyone watching this show. I'm not here to promote any political party. I'm not here to demean one, but let's vote wisely, because you have 5 years to deal with it. If some laws are passed, it goes to 7 years. So you can imagine what you're setting yourself up to. So before I start moving from coffee production to go to avocado production, remember, even the coffee I'm moving from, I invested a lot. I've been in this, I've been working on it. So shifting is not as easy. But when you ask, I'm moving from coffee because of a bad law. Of course, I'm taking coffee as an example. We vote wisely. Number two, George, before I go to moving from coffee to avocados, using the laid down procedures, let's demand accountability from the government. Again, laid down procedures. I'm not advocating for lawlessness. But it's important to ask the right questions. And there are forums. There are forums which you need to ask hard questions. Having taken care of that, because that's the only way you can shape policy. Because, again, if I've elected someone to go represent me, I can only sit back and wait for them to represent me. If they do that wrongly and a law is passed that affects me, I know there are laws to call people back. We are too much. We're maturing as an economy, as a democracy, but largely speaking, the public has to have a louder voice, and a firm voice, and a very sober voice. It is not mutuwe to mutuwa. It is not I like you, I don't like you. The question is, you're not giving me the services which I need to look for. That's the first important part. Happens once in a cycle, but it's very important. Now, again, in terms of changing my trade because of policies, some of them, of course, are well guided. If I find that it's no longer tenable to do a certain thing. So remember, when you're growing up, I grew up in the coffee region. And I remember coffee was a huge thing. But now when I go back to the village and I look at what coffee was, it's been overtaken by so many things. And when you listen to the local farmer, they'll say what you've just said. I don't see the benefit. Or there are some things that have come that are better than this coffee. Why should I still stick to the coffee? So it is a response of the policies, and there's nothing wrong with someone changing course. But from a policy direction, we want to see that happen slower. You don't things changing all the time. So is it coffee, is it avocado, is it sugarcane? Even before you stabilize in one, it is not fair. It's not right for the economy to work like that.
That's the farmer. There's another person who is under siege. They have tried to, because I'm asking you this as an expert so that also you now can be able to help them navigate the current situation that they are finding themselves in. The payslip holder. And he seems to be, she seems to be, the most vulnerable when it comes to taxation, because they have nowhere to hide.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so some are saying, you know, you talk to people and they are like, I have tried to downsize my budget. I've tried to do this in a bid, you know, to live. We are told, you, the experts, you tell us to live within our means.
Yes.
And so we've tried really hard to live within our means. But each and every, it's like every month, something new every month, something new. How do we navigate, especially the payslip holders now, because for them yao si ile optional.
It's low. I hear you.
Theirs is low.
I hear you. So yes, rightfully put, the payslip people, I call them formal employed people.
Yes,
things are very structured. Okay, that's why they can't run away, like you say. As long as the law has been passed, and actually it's the employer's job to do it. You have no say. You have no say. And the employer doesn't do it, they're in trouble. So yes, they're being hit right, left, right, and center. I'll say actually in the last 1 year, what we've seen is not usual, generally speaking. Ideally, too many changes too often destabilize people. They could be well-meaning. But affordable housing, then the SHA, then NSSF. Okay? And those three, those are fundamental payslip things that have been touched. You find maybe between 5 to even 10% of your pay has gone. Within 1 year. To adjust to that, unfortunately, I always like asking people, if your pay was actually reduced by 20% tomorrow, what would you do? The truth is, you'll do something and you'll survive. I have been in such situations, and once we have a short-term impact of our reduction of our salaries, the first thing to do is to scale down. Now, people ask me, like you've actually said, I've scaled down the most I can. So we come to the human behavior, money psychology, and personal finance. Have you really scaled down?
I think so.
I always say there's always room to scale down. I'm not here to say people to live different lives or to live a life of a martyr. But the truth of the matter, if you give it one harder look, because there's also human psychology, you're at a certain living standard. And everybody wants to stay there almost rigidly. It's natural. I say that there's always one more layer to shave off. There is always one more layer to shave off. Very hard to think about it. But let me be radical. Must you drive? I know now I'm touching very raw nerves. I know. But I want the listener I'm not telling you to stop driving.
No.
I'm asking you to actually ask that hard question. Must you really drive? Okay, fine. Must you drive every day? Must you drive a bigger car than you're driving? So you see, driving was meant to move you from one point to another. But when you start asking yourself very hard questions, then you start realizing, actually, if I really focused on myself, I think I can shave off something.
Allow me to interject.
Yes.
And the reason I want to interject is the reason why the deductions are being made is to go towards helping public service. Right? It's not a must I drive. It's actually very cumbersome.
Yes, there's an element of it.
You see? I would be very comfortable if I had a very functional public service.
I hear you. Then you don't even need to
I don't even need, because I know it's a sober sector. It's a well-managed sector. Timely. Once I go to that bus stop at 6 on the dot, the bus will be there, clean and all. Are you getting me?
I understand completely. I'm with you.
I have been deducted these services. I want to enter whichever level 2, level 3, level 4, referral hospital, or even a private hospital, because it's an insurance. And then give out the card. Because the deductions were made.
Absolutely.
But now, Kennon, that is not happening.
Yes, I hear you. So when I'm saying a level deeper, I hear you. But George,
Yeah.
public service is extremely important. And okay, I know there is what you call money velocity. How quickly do those things happen? How quickly do these wheels turn? But it's a public, it's a political will, I must say.
Yeah.
And I say it's whoever is in government is not the issue, but what's the political will to do what needs to be done?
Yeah.
Okay, if we seriously want to make SHA work today, I may not be a medic, I'm not an expert in medical matters, but sitting back, I'm asking myself, is it so difficult to make SHA work really so that when you go to hospital, you get a card, and even if it's in the next 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
I don't think it is. So political will is big. Political will is big.
Yeah.
But before I leave this paisley person, there's also something called multiple streams of income. Okay, because even the employers, and I have clients who are having to downsize. I have clients who are having to lay off. I have clients who are having to actually tell you, I love your services, but unfortunately, I'm not able to sustain. Look at what happened when Trump became president.
Yeah.
A lot of people are suffering from the donor support that has gone off. So people are jobless. It is so important to at least have a sense of another source of income. I would dare say, gone are the days when you used to get one job and it's permanent, pensionable, you're taken care of, never think about anything else. I'm also an employer, by the way, so I'm keen to see when I employ you, you're giving me your best.
Yes.
But it will be over-expecting of me as an employer that you're not doing anything else. It will be over-expecting of me.
Yeah.
So I think things are changing. It is important to have at least more than one stream of income. Because nothing is guaranteed anymore. And as you're doing this, of course, you take one that does not disrupt the other. You don't want to get fired because you're busy chasing a matatu on the roads, Shikona police. Then it's becoming a problem. So there's a way to do it, but also for the salaried people, strongly advise, please consider not having only one source of income. It's a fundamental thing in personal finance that you have more than one source of income.
I think at least there is hope.
Yes.
Let's look at some of the investment strategies that also you could, in the current economic status that we are finding ourselves in. What are some of the investment strategies that you would recommend, if I may say?
Wow.
That's a tough one.
Yes, it is. So I'll build it up in the assumption that we have different levels of viewers. There are people who are expert investors, others are just beginners. So at the very, very bottom is invest in yourself. At the very bottom. See that you're able to produce goods and services. That's what the umpteenth time I'm saying this, because it is so important. See that at your level, you're able to produce goods and services. I said if you're a lawyer, invest in understanding law so well that we come for you. That's the first level of investment and very basic, sometimes overlooked, sometimes ignored. After that, you have money in your bank. Banks are very good as a first level to manage your finances. Everything goes through a bank, that is okay. But you can consider other investments that give you slightly more. You can leave money in the bank that is that you need. It's called emergency. If you need it quickly, if right now I need to go to town, and I have money stored in a money market fund, that money won't help me.
No.
What will help me is what's here in the bank. So the banks have their place. After that, you can consider going to regulated investments. Regulated investment means that investments that have government oversight over them, they give you an extra layer, especially if you're beginning as an investor. One common one people love is money market funds. The advantage money market funds give is for sure they give you more return than money sitting in a bank. That's for sure. They also, people say, what if I want my money back? Again, you get it within a very short time. 2 to 5 days, you have your money back. And then they compute their interest daily. So even if it was there for 5 days, you get a small interest, but you get the point. That's the next level. After that, you might want to consider treasury bills and treasury bonds. That it also depends on how much money you have to invest. If you have a sizable amount and you can afford to keep it for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, you can choose the treasury bonds.
Yeah.
Again, now I'm slowly building what we're calling an investment portfolio, because you put a little of each in each class.
Yeah.
That's another consideration you might consider. Last year, they were giving about 16%. Now they've gone down to 9. I saw they're about 9-ish, between 9 and 10 for the treasury bills. Treasury bonds are still hovering between 10, 12. That's where they should sit. That's where they've sat for a long, long time.
Yeah.
You could also, if you want to go to buy shares in the stock market, then you need to have a longer term strategy. I've seen most of the clients want to say, I want to buy it when it's 10 shillings, it moves to 12 shillings and I sell.
Yeah.
You can do that, but the real strategy around shares is more of give it a longer term perspective. Give it 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Choose well. It's like when you're going to buy a pair of shoes. You take your time, the shoe is good, then you buy it and use it over time. Same thing. Shares you buy with a longer term perspective.
Yeah.
You can get lucky to speculate and, you get a gain, but that strategy can also burn you.
Yeah.
Because they go up and down. There are people who are in business, and a huge part of people in business, that is an investment. In fact, I say that one gives you one of the highest returns. Because the treasury bills are ranging between 9 and 12. A good run business can give you 30, 40, even 100% per year, because these returns are per year.
Yeah.
Bad as it is, you might find that a business can actually give you a good return.
Yeah.
Of course, there is the more risky ones. People go to forex trading, people go to cryptocurrency. We say, put a very small part of investment there.
Yeah.
Don't put your lunch money there. Don't put your rent money there.
Yeah.
You can put a little bit just to learn what's going on.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of learning. It's also a nascent kind of investment. Even investors are having to learn what's happening there.
Yeah.
But I would say don't ignore it. Only put a small amount so you can learn.
Yeah.
That's the basic spectrum of investments that people can try. But before I end this, that is one part. The part that is rarely spoken about is the risk that comes with each of these investments.
Yeah.
And by the way, Gishoro, very many people miss that.
Yeah.
And
Just look at the other
how much
side.
am I going to get?
Yes, yes.
And you move.
Yes.
But to get a balanced way of investing, it's important to think about the return, but also the risk, and create a balance around them.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I can pick easily.
Yeah. And thank you to our viewer very much engaging with us this morning. Thank you so much. 0708 222 323. That is the WhatsApp number. Hope TV Kenya across our social media platforms. Just highlighting some of those who are tuned in. Paul Edward Mwangi. Good morning, Gigi, and happy new week. I'm liking the conversation in the studio with Kennon. I have a quick question. A lot of people feel intimidated by financial planning, including themselves. They are still intimidated.
Yes.
What role does financial education play in helping people make smarter money decisions?
Wow. That's a big one. Financial planning, financial literacy, smarter decisions. It can be overwhelming, like Paul is saying, and indeed it is.
Yeah.
But the idea is to start small. You see, like you can ask yourself, how much am I doing in my own space of building goods and services? Deal with that.
Yeah.
Take it slowly. Don't worry about I'm missing this and this. It will come.
Yeah.
So it's about sequentially building it. There are many programs in the market. There are many solutions in the market that can help you really go from one step to another. We've also developed some in our own company. But the whole idea is, how do you help people get a sequential way of doing it? You can take a very simple program that takes you 2 hours and you're done, and you've gotten what you wanted to get.
Yeah.
There are some that will be a day, some will be weeks. There are apps. The idea is identify one that you can trust. Okay? And also remember, have some awareness. If I come, George, and tell you, give me 10,000 shillings today, I give you 30,000 tomorrow, even you, George.
Yeah.
Even
though I'm not a financial
yes,
expert,
surely. How can I help you? You smell it from so far. So there's that level also of awareness.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's not be gullible. Let's actually be able to balance off what you're reading and what you're getting. But as I said, there are many programs. And to Paul, take it step at a time. Take it a step at a time. And you'll get there.
Yeah. Ndisho, due to the trends in the economy, overtaxation among them, many people now prefer cash transfer rather than mobile transfer. What steps can be taken to change this trend? And now that you're an expert on the same, what's the advantages and the disadvantages of cash and mobile transfers?
The straight advantage of mobile is convenience.
Yeah.
Okay. The convenience is great. It helps money move faster in the economy, and it speeds things up. Okay. Instead of me walking all the way to the bank to withdraw 5,000 shillings to come give you, I'd rather just send you. So there's straight advantage of that. The disadvantage, in quote, is visibility. I think where an issue is coming from is that the moment it is in a system like that, with the right, I know there's data protection laws, I know there is all these laws around it, but all laws taken care of. If the government wanted to understand who should be paying what tax, they'd click a button and they'll get it. If everything has gone through a system like that. But of course, it has to, there's layers and layers of laws. The government just can't intrude and do that. So you can see the visibility that gives you. The advantage of a cash then is that, of course, then it's not visible. Okay, there's some visibility missing. If you wanted to not be in the radar, then cash helps you do that, because there's no 1,000 shillings serial number. We exchange money and we moved on. Okay, but to Ndisho's question, I can see why someone would say, listen, if I'm going to pay taxes and I can't see what they're doing, then I'd rather not pay. Because there's tax evasion, there's tax avoidance. Okay, tax evasion is illegal, tax avoidance is legal. So there's also a legal way to go through and say, how can I navigate and not pay these taxes using the tax avoidance, which is a legal way of doing it.
And there are so many Kenyans, as you had mentioned earlier, we are gullible. We want quick money, so I just want to place 5K here. And let's talk about now the same in terms of investment. How do we avoid, especially losing money, us as Kenyans being gullible the way we are?
So a good layer is to ask if that investment option is regulated or not regulated. That's a big place to start, because if it is regulated, there's an extra layer of protection in that there is another body that's watching over your money. Money markets are regulated. If they have a license to do a money market business and they get money, companies they're getting billions. If you look through the Capital Markets Authority report, companies are managing 60 billion, 20 billion, 30 billion of people's money. Okay, that is your money and the company's money. So, but if I got 60 billion as a money market fund guy, can I do whatever I want to do? Can I go buy land in Dubai if I want? And because I think Dubai land is, I can't just do that. There's what is guiding me on what to do. That's what regulated means. So that's a good step. The other one is financial awareness. Like I mentioned to you, we roughly know if I'm going to ask for 1,000 shillings today or 10,000 to give you 30,000 tomorrow, what am I doing? And people usually say, you don't worry what I'm doing. Now, those statements are not good.
So long as you get your money, don't be worried.
I've done this for so and so and so and so. Now, it is important to ask, I may not understand what you're doing, but what could you possibly be doing to triple my money in 24 hours and be left with a profit? Because you're not just tripling and walking away. You also are getting a profit out of it. So that level of awareness, I can tell you, most investments, we know what they fall. If you see an investment 30 and below, that is roughly what you'll get in a sane way. Sane is not the right word. In a usual way. Usual way. So you need to check how much am I being promised here, and to see. So those are the things. So regulated, be at least financial aware, and then also have a plan. I think Edward mentioned that, and you also alluded to it. If I want to drive a V8 in the next 2 weeks, there might be a problem of how I get there. Okay? So that means anything that comes in my way, I'm so blinded, I just want to get that V8 in 2 weeks. So having a financial plan, just you build stone by stone.
Yeah.
Step
Yeah.
by step. Yeah. And then the last one is what I'm a Christian, what the Bible tells us about these things. What will it gain? What will it gain you? Getting everything and losing your soul. Now here, soul for me, I can interpret it to your value system.
Oh, yeah.
And to what you believe in and what you stand for. What was it all for? That can also help you in terms of, getting to know what investments to do and to avoid being gullible.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Yeah.
You can only wear one pair of shoe at a time, even if you have 100. You can only wear one at a time. One at a time.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. We are living in, uncertain economic times and all. And so how we manage our finances, however small, will be critical. Talk to us about personal debt, and especially during these times, how do we manage the same so that we are not again overwhelmed?
Okay. Debt arises, one, if you're living above your means. Debt will arise automatically.
Yeah.
We always say in my company, it doesn't matter how much you make. What matters is what you keep. The first step is to have that visibility. Okay? Get a simple tool that tells you can even go to Excel if you want and say, this is how much I make. This is how I spend it. This is what is left over. It could go plus or minus.
Yes.
Okay? But that visibility is extremely important because debt arises if you're spending more than you're making. Worse still, if you don't have visibility and you're not too clear what happened,
Yeah.
that is dangerous.
Yeah.
Second reason why debt rises is instead of producing today to eat today, if you do that, there'll be no debt.
Yeah.
But you're telling someone, give me money, okay? I produce things for tomorrow, but I've eaten them today. I know it can get very technical, but if you get that perspective of debt, then you start understanding how personal debt works. Now, I've also been in personal debt. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but what if you find yourself in it?
Yes.
When you take that money, how did you use it? That is so important, George. How did you use it?
Used it. Yeah.
Because if you used it well, you'll probably be using debt the right way. Because there's good debt, bad debt, ugly debt.
Yeah.
If you can make it a good debt. For those listeners who are even contemplating taking a personal loan, make sure it is giving you more money or it is helping reduce your expenses. Then it will work for you.
Yeah.
The other thing now, what if you're in it so deep? I took it, nilikula.
Yeah.
Now, it is what it is.
And they have to pay.
They have to pay.
Yes.
Don't run away from your creditors. Never run away from a person who owes money. You owe money. I know they can give you pressure.
Yeah.
But don't run away. Just walk up and say, this is my circumstances. I cannot be able to keep up with the monthly repayments. I have lost my job or I'm this, and just be open. They are human beings. I know when they're selling, they sell in a very pleasant face.
Yeah, very nice way.
When they're asking,
they are listening. Totally different people.
Yes, you know that.
Yeah.
But even ugly as the person might be or the situation, just walk up to them and look them in the face. So, because if you don't do that, they still chase you anyway.
Yeah.
You start building some goodwill.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised, George, there are ways of negotiating. You'll be surprised there are options. They'll tell you, okay, fine, if you've come and sat up front, when do you look at, they can support you through the process. They can say, you are paying 17,000 every month. We can restructure so you start paying half of that within a longer period of time. So for you, you're happy because it's giving you more time to recover. So face the people you owe and discuss with them. Now, what if all else fails? When all else fails, you go back to increasing your income using a multiple source. Because at the end of the day, kama umechukua pesa ya watu, you have to pay.
You have to pay,
yeah. I've taken time to understand the financial system. But banks are not bad people. It's just that
they're not.
That money you've taken belongs to someone else.
Yeah.
What do you expect the bank to tell that person? I came to understand that's why they're very hard on you.
Yeah.
Okay? But so negotiate, take time, but also build yourself up. Yeah. Then also don't get overly stressed. And I'm not saying you become indifferent or you don't
careless,
care. It's not that. But there are those things you say, Sasa I'll not let it give me blood pressure. I will see the WhatsApps and they come racing. They have they put you on, they make sure they put you on on your toes.
Yeah.
Don't let it get onto your heart. Just see red,
Yeah.
mark red, move on.
Yeah.
And with time, it gives you some breathing space because, again, stress.
Yeah.
Stress is a big thing that comes from personal debt that is not being paid. It can be very stressful.
Yeah.
You know, you take that to your family, it becomes a problem. Don't let it go past you.
Yeah.
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 It's never that. It's not life and death.
No.
Utalipa pesa ya watu. I've seen people who've taken time, they default, they are listed in CRB. What not happens?
But they still emerge.
As long as you're clean your mind, you'll emerge. And you'll pay.
Yeah.
And you'll move on with life. But I hope with a lesson.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about now, we've been talking about this and how the economic trends also affect how we plan for retirement. Does it in any way affect, and how, or rather, what do we consider when we are making these plans?
Two levels. From a macro level, and this is to the government and to the regulators, and they know this for sure. It's just that I want to stress it. Retirement is someone's nest egg.
Yeah.
That is when the person will be most vulnerable. That's when the person will be least productive. And that's when the person has given their everything in life. That's when they're looking at retirement. So from the regulation side, it needs to be ring-fenced completely.
Yeah.
Whatever, and I know the experts are in the field, and I know people are doing their work, but I have to say that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's some laws that are passed and you wonder, how well is that law thinking about that 65-year-old woman or 68-year-old man that you want to start taxing them? So there we have to be clear. But now back to you preparing for it. The normal human cycle is such that you depend on people depend on you, then you depend on people.
Yeah.
This part, people are dependent on you, maximize it. Save for yourself. People say pay yourself first, and people even have numbers. If you start the discipline of saving before spending early on in life, that discipline stays. I keep telling people, for every increment you get, because there's something called lifestyle inflation, for every increment you get, take half of that increment, George, and save it. Save and invest. Why? Because you didn't have it. Number two, if you don't do that, you'll not know where it went.
Yes.
If you create such small disciplines where you say, half is what you spend, then half is what you use on yourself. And you start planning for your retirement. And of course, now put it in a structured way. I think the country has wonderful laws about retirement. Regulation is top-notch. Just make sure you're contributing into a pot that is protected. If an employer is doing for you, you're lucky, you're good. There's what you call additional voluntary. So you say, I have gotten a deal, it may be 80,000 shillings. Let me just take just 8,000, which is 10%, and I add to my retirement nest egg. Nothing wrong with that. Those are things. But also remember, retirement is not age. We in our programs, we always teach people that retirement is not age.
That is what we think. It's age.
Retirement is state. What state are you? If you can get to a place where you have passive income enough to fund your desired lifestyle, the day that happens, that's when you've retired. You have enough passive income to fund your desired lifestyle, that's the definition of retirement. There are people who are born retired. You inherit stuff. And so it's not age.
No.
So, but of course, age gives us a perspective because kuna mali itafika you can't work. But that's what I can say about retirement,
At times I have heard people say that they bought things when there was a crisis, economic crisis. How do we maximize and how does this happen?
It is a huge psychological thing. As an investor, if you're a savvy investor, you know when to buy, when to hold, and when to sell. That's the key thing. And you've just said it. If you're able, it takes a lot of emotional and psychological grit to buy during a crisis. And by the way, if you notice in Kenya, that happens a lot. During the elections, just before elections, the stock market plummets. If you have the courage to buy at that time, because it cycles. Then, of course, when you have done elections, everyone is happy. Unfortunately, sometimes people fight, but then it still stabilizes, then things go up again. So if you're able to understand the investment cycles, then you're able to gain from them. But there's a whole psychology towards money that helps you do that. Because what do you tell your family? And you bought something that is going down, 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 down.
Yes. and there you are running.
Yes. So it takes a lot of investment maturity to get there. But yes, if you're able to time and buy during a crisis, as long as you're buying a good investment, it will eventually spring back.
Kennon, I don't think we will end this conversation today. We need to continue because I'm being told time is not on our side. So if you could give us your closing remarks so that we call it a day.
Yes. So thanks a lot, George. So the bottom line is public sector has a huge part to play in people's lives. Let's never forget that. For those in power, for those aspiring to go into power, please remember you're affecting people's lives. Number two, as a person, there's a way to plan your finances. There is a route to things. Just like a doctor needs 6 years to understand how to do operations, you also need some time to grow into investment. Unfortunately, it's not taught in schools, not formally, personal finance. We do that in my company. We do personal financial literacy courses because we realize there's a gap there. And we generally want to help people manage their finances. So get to know what is out there. And then let's keep our hope in God. Because at the end of the day, everything we do really rests on the Almighty. However you look at your Almighty, I know we are different faiths, but the supreme being that really manages things beyond us. Let's always remember that.
Kennon, thank you so very much. Maybe how we can get in touch with you, how can we connect with you?
So I run a company, it's called Mwalimu Biashara. You can look it out, mwalimubiashara.com. On social media, we are your financial partners. On social media, follow us on all channels. There is a small program we've developed. There's a mobile app, it's called Kibeti. Kibeti is on Play Store. What Kibeti does, it takes all that we know in personal finances and we're putting it in that app. We want to encourage people, if you can download that on Play Store. It's coming on iOS soon, but the idea is, it's still developing, but the idea is when you say how you can reach me, reach me in Kibeti. Because that's why I speak to you. I help you in every way. Thank you.
Kennon, thank you so very much. Regards even for the sacrifice this morning on a Monday morning.
No worries.
Thank you so much for sacrificing. And regards to your family, regards to Biashara. Pale Limited, asanteni sana.
Thank you
and continue doing the good work that you are doing.
We appreciate that.
Asante sana. And thank you so very much also for tuning in. I know that you are better equipped. You are in a better position now in as far as tackling financial matters are concerned and the trends that we continue to observe in our country, in the region, and also globally. So thank you so very much. Wishing you a blessed and a fruitful day and week ahead. Go out there and conquer as well, because God is on your side, and that is all that we need. With Him on our side, these things, He will position us. He will bring people into our side who will help us in this journey. My name is George Gishuru. On behalf of the entire team, it's Kwaheri for now.